This video is sponsored by My Metal Cards at Etsy.com. So yes, this is a new upcoming shop which specializes in selling like a lot of metal cards, so hence the name. So it ranges and specializes in like a lot of games such as Combat Vanguard, MTG and Warhammer. So in this case, if you see here for Vanguard, they have energy counters for every nation. There's also like treasure tokens for MTG. There's also like plenty other designs for Vanguard, such as like fated ones. There's also like nation ones, and also it comes with acrylic ones. It's more transparent acrylic ones, so that's pretty cool. If you want to get one of these, that's also nice. And also there's plenty of other designs which are not in this shop, but you can custom pre-order them. You can like order them customly, such as like my Chronojet black and white energy counter, which is like 0 to 10. There's also like black and white like nation cards such as like Brungate, which I have over here, and also like they have like IoT energy like energy markers, energy counters, which I have like all three, like bronze, silver, gold respectively. So that's about it. And also, if you go to this shop and have the code coupon code Enochsays, 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 you get $5 off for your first purchase of one of these metal cards as well. So Enochsays, ENOCHSAYS, for $5 off for your first purchase. And do check them out. There's plenty of designs, and you can use them to spicify your decks, make it bling, make it fancy. Do keep in mind that since these are custom-made energy markers or whatsoever, counters or whatsoever, you cannot use them in like official Bushiroad tournaments. But you can use them as a form of like collection or whatsoever. And there you go. Just pick one of these up, and hopefully you like them. I like it personally, so do give them the support. And that's about it. I'll see you in the next video.
Hello everyone, it's Professor Uno095 back with long-awaited Chronojet deck profile. So this is something that I have been trying to update for quite some time, and now that DZ-BT06 is out with all of the jet buff stuff coming in, I think it's a great time for me to try to dive into this deck in general and see like how this deck operates ever since when the new G-Zone, the Strike, which is Chronoscommand, has come in, and it kind of it changes in the way of like how Chronojet actually builds their deck nowadays. So I think it's actually a good time to try to like dive in, and you can consider this a rather comprehensive guide to those people who wants to start with Chronojet, like building Chronojet straight out from this box, because DZ-BT06 has a reprint of the entirety of the Messiah and Chronojet Strike deck sets. Then of course it got people trying to like say like they wanted to start Chronojet, but they couldn't be able to afford to. This could be like, hopefully this video can help you in one sense or another to give you a little bit of an insight on how to build around Chronojet, like how to build Chronojet, right, in general. So yes, that's about it. So today I'll be trying to go with a little bit of like a deck profile of the new Chronojet deck after DZ-BT06. Now, disclaimer and a little bit of caveat. Okay, I don't claim myself as the best Chronojet player. I have seen a lot of good Chronojet players around in Malaysia, in KL. Some of them, I can admit, they are way better than me. They can cook better than me. So in that particular sense, I am not the best, but I would hopefully able to give a little bit of an insight on how I try to like build this deck in general, and hopefully it can help you to probably give you a direction on where you want to build your Chronojet in the long term, right? And I, of course, as I do with like my other deck profiles, there will be like a lot of alternatives as well. So shout out to Aaron Ho. Aaron, if you're watching this video, mad respects to you. Actually, like me and Aaron has been like cooking this particular deck for quite some time now. Probably for 3 weeks. Was it been 2 weeks or 3 weeks ever since Chronoscommand got reviewed, and so we are trying our best to try to incorporate some of the new and the old stuff together. And of course, we'll dive straight into the deck profile. So before we do, if you do enjoy this video and if you do enjoy the content I'm doing here in this channel, please do hit like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. Right now, let's without further ado, let's get straight into the right line. First off, you must always have Chronojet Dragon, laser gear, smoke gear, and Chronojet Dragon. I think this is the uncompromising right line because this is the rules. If you want to strike, if you want to have to strike to get the Chronojet quest, this is the right line that Bushiroad actually in the fighters rules ruling that you must have this right line and nothing else. Particularly speaking, because you need to have your Chronojet as your starter. Then when you ride with basic gear, you ride on top of Chronojet specifically, and then you can get a crest and then you get to draw one, which is nice. So even if you go first, you get to draw one, and then you have a smoke gear, and then you have Chronojet, right? So with smoke gear is that when it's brought by Chronojet, you get to soul last one switcher that from up to 1 grade 3 normal unit card and any to your hand, and then you shuffle your deck, right? So I'm gonna move my mouse off the way just because. Okay, and of course Chronojet, the OG of the OG boys. This is the skill where if you hear me like burping and coughing and whatnot, my throat's not in a particularly good condition, so I just want to get this quick and over with. When this unit attacks the Vanguard in GP2, this unit during this battle, this unit plus 5k, and your opponents cannot call Great One or greater cards from their hand to Guardian Circle, which means this is actually a guard restrict. So the only way for you to stop Chronojets like GB2 attack is if you were to have Great Zeros in your hand, or you Elementaris Execute a Blitz Order, and you know, that's about it. That's kind of nice. And of course, the strike skill is that when your G unit strike, you counter plus 1, you choose one of your opponent's triggers and put it at the bottom of the deck. So self-explanatory for those people who already know Chronojet for a very, very long time, for 10 years since G came out. So at least G, you know, peak season of the, you know, one of the best seasons, one of the peak seasons I ever enjoyed. Right, so let's start moving down to the grade 3s. I play 2 Chronojets. Okay, so this is of course I play 3 versions of the Chronojet. Okay, one in the right deck and then 2 in the main deck. I think 2 is enough because like I don't find myself particularly striking in the next stage unless I absolutely have to. So this is just because like Chronojet is here just because I want to strike for next stage as well. Just because I think it's very straightforward on that part on my end. For the grade 3s, actually, the next grade 3 I'll be playing is Balif. So Balif's skill is that continuous Regas Circle GB2. If any of the during your turn, if any of the opponents like any of players' Regas goes to the bottom of the deck, this unit plus 10k, so which is kind of nice. Which means that if you swing with Fate Rider and then you open the G zone, then automatically if you can like able to call Balif on the field, or if Balif is on the field, then he instantly gets a GB2 and he's a 28k beat stake with the 5k front row. So actually this is like pretty good on its end, a very good beat stake. But of course the second skill is that when this unit when this card is being discarded for the cost of your strike, you get to draw one, so which is nice. I decided, sorry, my voice is a little bit raspy, my gosh, I try not to talk too fast and not to talk too hard. Talk too fast, actually. You will notice that I will never play Noctelgos now because Noctelgos is probably a little bit more of a redundant, and now with Chronoscommand's new skill, which we're gonna get straight into after that, which allows me to like call a grade 3 and call a grade 1 if I target like say upstream, for example, right? So I'm gonna get straight in the combo for that. But if you're going to call a grade 3 with Fate Rider or Chronoscommand, this will be going for a very good beat stick, and with a column, let's say for example with like if you use Chronoscommand to target upstream and you call grade 1 and you call grade 3, essentially you're looking at a 46, 51k or 56k columns, which is actually pretty nice as well. So yes, Balif will be the uncompromising beat stick for this deck in general. So yeah, that's about it for Balif. And then excuse me. Alright, let's straight on voice for it. Okay, now the next card I'll be playing is actually the Jet Order actually. So for those of you who are very curious about what the Jet Order does, is that when you can play the cost of CB1 if you have a Chronojet crest, and then you can choose either a unique card from in the soul or on your rear guard, bot that it and call the grade +1, and then during this turn all the GB activates will activate regardless of how many cards in the G zone. So basically it's just ignore your GB requirements, and then call it to your rear guard circle, shuffle your deck, and then the second skill is that when this card is discarded for the cost of your strike, choose either your hard card or your or your Vanguard, and that unit's CB1 is reduced by 1, so which is good. Essentially meaning that this is good for a lot of circumstances, because like early game, let's say that if you were to force to go early, having this card, having this order card is not that bad, because which means that you can able to call like say a bot deck a grade 1 to call upstream, which means that upstream can swing for 15k, and then you can call grade 1. It can be a Phylia, it can be a GG or something along those lines, which is actually pretty nice as well. And not to mention that if you discard this for Chronoscommand or Fate Rider, this will be essentially like a free CD for you to activate the Vanguard's ability, so which is kind of nice as well. So I play 3, I don't think I'll play 4. So if you're going to play this order build, it warrants to the fact that you also have to play Phylia as well, because Phylia, I play 3 Phylias in this deck. We'll get straight into that later on, to try to like combo off the pieces there, where you can actually like proc the 5k and then you manage to get into your soul, especially in like a lot of matchups in early game or late game where you can find yourself like your opponent has 1 or more like 2 or more rear guards or something along those lines. So this order can help alleviate those kinds of issues. So of course it's good for early game, and it's also good for late game in certain situations as well. So I play like 3 copies of this. That's all for the grade 3s. Let's go for the grade 2s. Actually, let's go for Upstream Dragon. I think Upstream for me is a 4 off. I don't think I can change anything other than this, but I've seen people play 3. I think 3 is fine, but personally I'll play 4 just because like the consistency issues, like you can always have a target to go to. But of course, Upstream skill is that when this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may have this unit plus 5k until the end of this battle, and then at the end of the battle, this is a cost. You can bot deck itself and then choose search your deck for 1 grade 1 and call it to the back row, circle and shuffle your deck, right? As stand. So this is very different from the old upstream, from the G era upstream, where you can collect the stress. This one calls it at stand, which means that you can give yourself a potentially 8k or 13k booster, which is good as well. And of course, in a Fate Rider turn, you always need to swing with, like, if you have a more optimal board, is that like you have upstream the field, you finish attacking with this one, then you call grade 1, then you time it to grade 1, and then you can call back another upstream, right? So which is kind of nice, which is kind of cool. I would say like this would be very good call targets for Phylias and GGs, and for not for colors. So I think like in 4 colors or clockwise as well, right? So this is kind of nice. So this is a 4 off. I won't change anything else other than this, so I think it's fine. For the next grade 2 cards, I play 3 Dish Gauss, by the way. I think I used to play 4, but I think like 3 is actually like sufficient, because like you at one point like the energy can run out if you go second, because essentially speaking, what she does is that if she is discarded for the cost of riding up, for riding from the right deck, you can either CB1 or EB3 to draw 1 card, right? The second skill doesn't really matter, because the second skill only procs that when if you have a Persona right during this turn, which of course Chronojet doesn't have Persona right. But of course this one, the first skill where you can discard it for riding, or if you use to guard from hand and call it to Guardian Circle, you get to EB3 and you get to draw 1, which allows you to get to your draw pieces, and you don't really minus a lot, which is nice. So I think 3 is fine. I think like guarding with this is also kind of good as well. So I play 3 copies. Right. Oh my gosh, my voice. Okay. Yeah, 3 copies. But if you want to play 4, I think it's fine. Next rate 2 is actually 3 Fort and Rivaltis. So Fort and Rivaltis is actually really good. In this deck, personally, I have only like 3 copies, so that's why I play 3. But if you want to play 4, you have to. It's preferably you have to play 4, but I think like 3 is enough. So what he does is that it's a she actually. It's actually the law actually established that there is a she, like the dragon, and that both of the dual nations actually like her. Okay, apparently. So when this unit is called on the battle phase, like other than battle phase from the hand, you soul charge 1, and during this turn, this unit plus 5k, then you may pay the cost to CB1, and then you can perform one of the following abilities. Either you retire your opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guards, or you choose a grade 2 or less rear guards from your choose a grade 2 or less card from your soul and call it a rear guard circle, which is good. So this is very good for early game as well, because you have to push, which means that you can go for magic numbers, because it will be a 15k when you first call him. So if you call a 8k, so it's gonna be a 23. If you call a Phylia or something, or you call a Phylia or GG, and then you'll be a plus 15, plus 5k, sorry, not 15, plus 5k, which means that this is going to be a 28k attacker on the early game, so which is good, which is nice, and late game as well. I find myself like if you can manage to proc this late game, I think it's good, because like there will be like some Furious in the soul, so if you can manage to call it out, I think it's nice. But mostly people will play this for like early game consistency to try to push. So that's why they play for the sake of consistency. I think I can agree with that. But for now, I only have 3 copies. But I think 3 copies should suffice for the time being, and I think that's kind of okay already. Other than that, the next grade 2 is actually like I play twin cast. So of course I already play a lot of like normal orders in this deck. So I like 3 normal orders. So defensive wise, I kind of need to go for a little bit of a defensive gaming over here. So that's why I play twin cast, because like you can never go wrong with twin cast. Essentially it's because like twin cast is like the first skill is actually like you give 1 unit plus 10k until the end of battle. Then the second skill is that like whenever there's when your unit is being attacked, you can just remove itself and plus 5k for choose one of your attack units, and for every of that grade plus 5k. So which means that if my grade is being attacked, this is going to be like 15k power or 50k shield along those lines. So which is kind of nice, because it's making your Vanguard at 28k, which is good. I can agree with that. This is I will play twin cast. I see people play the Caliban, Radiant Caliban, where you can like either you want to draw 2 or you can do counter charge 1 if you move it. So that one, there's nothing wrong with that. I just prefer like twin caster, because twin cast is obviously, in my personal opinion, the best Regalis piece in the game, right? Yeah, that's about it. Okay, for the next great ones, we have 3 Arlims and 1 Elementarius Sanctitude, triple drive 1. Don't play the new one from the festival collection, because the festival booster is the one that is if you have a crest, right? So you cannot play this card if you have a crest. So this one is not restricted to the crest, so this is fine. So anti-triple drive is kind of nice as well, because of course this is arguably a strike deck meta. So now you will see Chronojet and Messiah popping off potentially. So I would say like play triple drive, but I think like this will always be a better Elementarius Sanctitude in my heart, right? So of course this is the only thing. 4 PGs, I think that's very straightforward and self-explanatory. Of course 3 clockwise is actually good. So you can play 4. I don't I don't judge you for that. I think like 4 is definitely fine, but 4 of me is a tad bit too much. In my personal experience fighting with playing with 4 clockwise, I think it's a little bit too much for my taste. I think 3 is a very healthy ratio at this point. So the skill is that when this unit is placed on the rear guard circle, if your Vanguard is the same grade or lesser than your than your opponent's Vanguard, you soul charge 1, and during this turn this unit plus 2k, so which is nice, which you can feel your soul, which means that you can do shenanigans with GG to soul blast and draw 1. But of course it's going to be a 10k booster and a 10k beat stick depending on the state of the game. So if you go second and you rush with clockwise, this is going to be a 10k attacker or 10k booster, but preferably it's going to be like you're going to have to call clockwise to the front and swing. So this is where will be like the 10k attacker, which is nice. But the second skill is where it's the best, because it's on the rear guard circle and in the drop. So whenever there's a card that is being discarded from your hand during this turn, you remove itself, you EB3 and remove itself from the game, and you get to bounce back the discarded card. So it's really good for next stage turn. It's really good for say like discarding something to write up, or like say discarding for strike cost. That will be the only time that you will have to do like the discardings, and you know, you might discard a very important key piece in your hand. So maybe like if you have this card in the drop zone, it will be nice as well. If you're going first, it would be preferably to try to, like, if you have a clockwise in hand, you can try to discard this as well, because there's no point for you to like proc this game, proc this card early, because like if you're going first, your vanguard's grade will always be higher than your opponent's, so this would be a very good discard fodder as well. So that's why 3 copies is fine, 3 clockwise. After that, I play 3 GGs. So GG skill is very simple. When this unit is placed on rear guard circle, if you have a Chronojet crest, you Soul Blast 2 and you get draw 1. If this card is called by a card's ability, then you may have this unit plus 5k until the end of turn, which is kind of nice as well, because if you like try to call it with upstream effect, then you get the Soul Blast 2 and plus 5k, or you call by Fort and Rivaltis effect, you call GG out and then Soul Blast 2, and then you get to draw 1 plus 5, which is also kind of nice as well. Sorry about that. Alright. So yeah, I have to slow down on that one. Okay. So yes, pretty much self-explanatory on this part. For GG, I've seen people play 2 copies now, but I think it's fine. But I would not prefer to play 2 copies. I think 3 is okay, because for consistency purposes, you need to call out with upstream, you need to call out with like early game with Rivaltis and all fun and Rivaltis. So I can understand why it's like pretty good and pretty nice as well on this end. So GG is definitely a good one to have. And of course, 3 Phylias. 4 Phylias will be fine. Just adjust the ratios however you like it. But I think like 3 is good. So this is basically Dark Stationary, where where at the end, when this unit boosts, if your opponent has 1 or less rear guards, or if you play an order card during this turn, at the end of you may have this unit plus 5k at the battle, and at the end of the battle you shuffle into your soul and you get to draw 1, which is good because it fills your soul, and then you get to draw 1 as well. So basically it's a very very good engine. So that's why you have to pair up with the Chronojet order in order for you to like proc her ability, and also you can find herself pretty useful in situations where you can strike into Chronoscommand, where like all of your opponent's rear guard is gone, and Phylia will be the best timing, good timing for it to try to come out and proc the effect. So which is good and not that bad, right? And of course, moving to the one-offs, we have Steam Breath, just because you want to look for your Chronojet, which essentially allows you to strike into next stage, preferably, or if like one of them you have discarded in your drop zone, then you can use it to fetch it back as well. And also it's a good strike fodder, because like you can discard this for strike as well. You can from the hand, you can just from your hand you can just like discard this and then search your deck or drop for up to 1 Chronojet and bounce it into your hand. And yeah, that's about it. That's a one-off. Next one we have the cat Amethyst. So Amethyst is very nice. The reason why is that when this unit is placed on rear guard circle or guardian circle, depending where you put it, you remove, not remove, you just put back 2 cards from your right deck, either from your drop or from your soul to the right deck face up, and then depending on where you place it, then it gets the effect. If you place on rear guard circle, you get to CC 1, and if you call in the guardian circle, this unit plus 15k shield. So it's actually a CC, and also it's a 20k shield, which is good because it's more defensive in certain situations, and in situations where you don't have a counter blast for you to use, especially like during like next stage, like Chronoscommand or Fate Rider, this would be the best option for you to play. But of course, since you only will have to play since I don't really rack so much, and like my rack deck only has like 0, 1, 2, one off. This will be the one cat will always be the one off. So that's a no-show. That's a no-brainer. You know, no-brainer for that. For trigger wise, I would have like 8 crits actually. No, yeah, that's not the one actually. Like 8 crits. 4 effect crits, just because like the soul might be necessary, and then can help you to reach to magic numbers. So like your end of battle that you just booster move to soul and give unit plus 2k. So you can reach magic numbers in certain situations, which is nice. So 8 crits, and yeah, that's about it. And then after that we have like 4 heals. For the heals, I only play. I would not play effect heals personally now that I've like changed my build. But if you are so inclined, you can either change it to one anti-restand, or you can change to one anti-crit. But judging from like this particular meta, I think like anti-restand or anti-crit is actually really nice, because like Vermilion the Blood, let's say for example your matchup with Vermilion the Blood, because Vermilion will have a crit, Frafly will have a crit, Grum Grace will have a crit. Anti-crit is not that bad. Anti-restand, so far I don't really see a lot of decks that actually restands a lot other than Rotovisor. But I think like 4 of these would be like 4 of these normal heals should suffice. But if you are so inclined to play like effect heals, I think it's okay. Then of course we have like front triggers, 3 effect fronts. So I don't play draws because this deck already draws a lot with Phylias and GGs. I think that's very obvious already at this point. It's a 20k shield, and like you try to buff up your front row numbers, it's actually quite good. So that's why. Last but not least, I played the Darktaste OT because the guard restrict with Chronojet, and with like putting up the pressure with like the 23k to crit or like 28k to crit is very huge and very big. Not to mention, if you pair up with the G-Zone, your Chronojet will be potentially like swinging for like say 18, 28. If you have like 3 front row, 3 G-Zones to the face up, it will be like looking at for a 43k double crit, I think. No, they're like 13 plus 8, and then like front G-Zone, if you're like assuming you have 3 face up, yeah, 43 2 crit. So which is very scary, and you know can reach for magic numbers if you don't have a booster as well. So I think it's fine. Very cool. And that's all for the. I mean, okay. Now let's go for a little bit of like alternatives, right? You can play red OT because you can assure yourself you can swing for 2 times. For the rear guard, you want to be very aggressive. Red OT would definitely be nice. Blue OT is good as well. But yeah, red, blue, or Darktaste OT, I think will be the best alternatives for Chronojet's like OT. Purple OT not as much. I don't really like that. Yellow OT much so not to, because there's no point for you to do that. Because like your rear guards your opponent's rear guard will be gone by then. So I think it's like because of Chronoscommand, right? Speaking of Chronoscommand, let's go into the G zone. Actually, as a matter of fact, we have let's go with Fate Rider first. Okay, 4 Fate Riders, 4 next stage, and you have 4 Chronoscommand, right? So now you would have 12. Legally speaking, you can have up to 16 cards in the G zone, but now you have now they have released like new Chronoscommand. Now you have 12 G zones, so which is nice. So let's get straight to Fate Rider first. So Fate Rider skill is that when this unit attacks a Vanguard, when this unit attacks, it doesn't have to attack the Vanguard. You kind of last one, you turn 1 G unit in your G. You flip 1 G unit face up, choose one of your red cards, and then you pop that in, and then you call a Great +1. And then for every face up cards in the G zone, this unit plus 5k. So essentially speaking, is that if you this will be your first strike. This will be your first strike. You swing this, you say bot deck a grade 1, and then you call a grade 2. Then you have to flip out 1 G zone, which of course you have to flip Chronoscommand for this cost. And then you can have essentially like a plus. Let's say for example plus 5k. Then this unit will like if you have a you will have to flip 1 G-Zone face up, then this is plus 5k. Added with the crisis at front row plus another 5k, so you'll be looking at 20k beat stake for the grade 2, which is kind of nice. So if you call upstream, this will be like a 25k beat stake. And later in the game, if you can manage to sustain long enough late into the game, if you can able to call out say use Strike into Fate Rider, and you have like say for example 4 G-Zones face up, this unit plus 20k, and then it in addition to like the front row crest with the 20k power, you're looking at the 50k bit stick, which is actually pretty nice and pretty scary. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So Fey Rider is definitely your first strike. The second strike I have right now is actually let's actually go with next stage, right? We'll go Chronoscommand last. Next stage is basically like GB2 at the end of the battle that this unit attacks Vanguard, if I'm not mistaken. You counterblast one, discard 2 cards from your hand, move this card to the G-Zone face up, and restand your Chronojet Vanguard. This is basically your finisher, and it's very strong finisher, but of course you have to look at the situations. If you can go for the kill turn with next stage, then by all means go ahead. In my defense, in certain cases, I find myself not finishing games with next stage as much as I needed to, but of course, if you can manage to push your opponent to 4 or 5 damage, at the time, you would be very well wise to strike in the next stage and try to finish the game, provided if the hand size is a little bit wobbly, like around like 7 or 8 cards, and they check blanks or something like that, depending on the state of the game. Next stage will be a very good finisher card, so of course you have to play that. But of course, let's get to Chronoscommand, which is the new strike, the new kid in the block, right? The new kid in the block, the new strike. So essentially, what Chronoscommand skill is that the Act Vanguard once per turn. This is a GB3. You bot deck all of your opponent's rear guards, and then you choose one of your rear guards and you give it the red tax effect, which means which says that at the end of the battle that this unit attack, you put this unit at the bottom of the deck, and then you call it a grade +1. That is, by the way, that is not a cost per se. It's the part of the requirement to like say that like after battle, you can try to like essentially like time leap into a grade higher. So in a key synergy moment, let's try to give it a little bit of like a demo play. Let's say if you have upstream on your field, and then you counterblast 1 and try to like say that you target upstream. This is the ruling has been confirmed, by the way. You give it upstream the effect, and then you proc upstream first. You go to the bottom of the deck and you get to call 1 Phylia. Okay, then you call 1 Phylia, and then since this is the ability, you get to call grade +1, you get to call another Barleaf, which means that this is potentially like a 51k column, so which is kind of nice, right? At the end of the battle, right? So this one finish end of battle, but like you proc upstream's effect, then you call grade 1, then grade +1 you call Barleaf, so which is good, which is technically extending your another attack, which means that this is a 4 attack turn. This is a 4 attack turn, and you can swing for higher numbers, and you can get to have like a draw engine with Phylia, because like all of your opponent's rear guards are gone. If you don't have Phylias, you can always, if you have Soul, you can just Soul +2 and draw 1, and yeah, that's about it. Very nice. I kind of like Chronoscommand, and Chronoscommand, but as a matter of fact, is not entirely the best strike for this like particular setting. However, Chronoscommand is actually good for mid-game, particularly because you know, maybe your opponent has like 3 damage, or they have like a lot of hand size. You don't think you can kill them. There's always option of either you want to go, and they have like a lot of rear guards, a very annoying, a very key piece rear guards. Then of course Chronoscommand is your go-to. But other than that, if you don't want to strike into Chronoscommand, I think like Fey Rider would be a much more better option, because like you can flip another G-Zone, like you can flip a Chronoscommand face up. Oh, by the way, I just forgot to mention as a matter of fact, is that, sorry, my bad. So when you call the rear guard with Chronoscommand's effect, essentially like you will get 5k for every Chronoscommand face up cast Chronoscommand in your G-Zone. So if you have called one of these, like say if you call a Barleaf, then it will get another 5k, like say 1. So if you plus 5k. So if you have 2 Chronoscommand in your G-Zone face up, these will become like 10k. So which is kind of nice. As well, I forgot to mention that fact. So I apologize on that behalf. Sorry about being long-winded, but yes, this is actually like a very good mid-game piece. It's not entirely the best for finishers, but you know, you can actually like try to like play tempo a bit with this one. So yeah. That's about it. And yeah, I actually like this is a very not much of the entirety of like the full story. However, like I wouldn't say like the full story, but this will be like more or less what you can understand with Chronojet, how Chronojet runs in general. Essentially speaking, if you were to go second, preferably because you're a strike deck, and you have to rush early, essentially your how you say this? Actually, your hand has to be at least at like one digital or one clockwise. Then you can just discard to right, and then you get an energy plus to draw one. You can discard this, and then the next turn, next card you discard, then you can actually try to like energy plus 3, and then you can remove itself, and then you just bounce back the card. Whatever you discarded, right? So there's like a lot of like things that you can go with like this one. So like the combos. So let's say for example this is your Chronojet. You call for a Rivaltis. Let's say if you manage to soul charge into your Phylias, you soul charge into your Phylias, you counter +1, then you call Phylia out, then this unit plus 5k, then you can swing for like I wouldn't say that it's not even a Chronojet turn. Like even on the grade 2 turn, you can already like dish out your key pieces like say for example like GG to soul +2 to draw 1, which of course you have to soul by the time you have grade 2. Then you can just soul charge 1, like soul charge 1 and you call out. And if you're like a great, like if you are going second and you're going for and you have like clockwise in your hand, right? You call this one, you can soul charge 1 and you plus 2k, and then you can call another GG soul +2 and draw 1. So which means then you have like a rush, grade 1 rush, 8k, 8k, and 10k if you don't check any triggers, but if you check a trigger, that would be nice as well. This deck actually have a very good early game potential. Late game potential, I would say like it's pretty strong. This is also like why strike decks, Crest in general have very good power scaling. So that's why I would say this the deck list I've built so far, we've been cooking so far, is pretty much solid at this point. Of course, there will be other better improvements. There will be like a lot of like different ways on how people want to build their Chronojet, but this is the way how I cook it, and that's about it, right? Right. Excuse me about that. Sorry, I'm a bit sick, slightly sick. I'm not entirely fever or flu or something. Let's go with the alternatives, right? Let's go for this one actually. Now, alternative wise, there's a lot of people that tends to try to tell me I don't have Fort and Rivaltis, I don't have Tishkal, I don't have Furias, or because these are more expensive key pieces, okay, which I can understand. So that's why this particular segment of the deck profile is where I can give you a bit of a budget alternative. I won't say budget, some of them are really like not budget. Okay, so Flyer Dragon, which is a new card in set 6, essentially is that when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard attacks, this unit plus 5k, and if your Vanguard attacks for the second time, you choose one of your Vanguards and this unit plus 10k. So essentially like saying that next stage turn, this can be a very good 20k bits thing, and you can also give your Vanguard plus 5k as well. So which means that like say Chronojet, assuming like Chronojet has a GB2 on the next stage turn, GB3 actually as a matter of fact. So 13 plus 5 is 18, 18 plus 15 is going to 33, so it's going to swing for 38, which is a good magic number. So yeah, and this unit will be plus 5 and with next stage swing, and then you swing with Chronojet and this unit plus get another plus 5. So this is going to be like a 20k bit stake, and you can give your Vanguard a buff. I've seen people, they pair this out with like in the initial stages. So this is a very copy and build, by the way, I'm just telling you out. In the initial stages of us cooking this deck in general, we found ourselves that you can play this set order, and then like on the next stage turn, this unit can call it the back row, and then you can just use it for the boosting and whatnot, because it will be a 20k booster on the next stage turn. But we found like this is a really stupid idea, so that's why we kind of like ditched that build, because and also like since you are playing an order card, which means that you can play Phylia, which is kind of nice. Then we realized that this is not the most ideal way of how you actually want to build Chronojet. So this will be a much more budget alternative choice if you don't have anything else to play. So that's about it for this one. Speaking of like set 6 cards, let's go with Glimmer Breath. Like Glimmer Breath is actually not too bad, but it's actually the skill is that when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if you have a Chronojet Crest, you counterblast 1, you draw 1, and if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit costs 5k. So early game is not that, before you went right into Chronojet, it's not that bad to CB1 and draw 1, but I think, you know, if you were to have Fort and Rivaltis in comparison, this would be, like Fort and Rivaltis would be a much more better alternative, because the only time that when he gets a 5k is when you are in a grade 3 Vanguard, which is kind of a bit slow, but at the same time, the second skill is the auto rearguard GB3 when this unit attack. During this battle, this unit costs 10k, so it's like a 20k. And if you like call it during like the GB3 turn, it's like say like front row, this would be like a 35k beat stick if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's a good beat stick, but I felt like it pales in comparison when it comes to Fort and Rivaltis and what else, like Bali or something like that, right? So it's the 35k beat stick is definitely welcome. It's just that it's a little bit as in early game, and late game it just doesn't hit right. It doesn't really feel right. But of course, I see people play 1 in the list. So if you do not have Fort and Rivaltis, if you do not have, let's say for example like the key pieces like Phylia or Tishkals, like this could be a good alternative for you, and it's a very budget card to play around with. So I would say like you know, play 4. No, play, if you're so inclined, you can play 3. I would say like 2 or 3. But if your deck is already very well solid, I think 1 is particularly enough. Servant Foundation is also pretty nice as well, because when you swing, it choose a Dark States from your drop zone and then move it into your soul, and for every grade that this unit plus 5k. So if you shove a grade 3 into the soul, you plus 15k, so it's a 25k beat stake. If you're on a GB2, it's a 35k. If you're GB3, it's be like a 25k plus 15, it will be a 40k beat stake, which is good, which is nice. But nowadays, I don't see a lot of people playing with Foundation, but Foundation will be still a good viable option. And so the more other versions of how you want to build this deck, if you do not have, like say, Fort and Rivaltis, you don't have Tishkals or the Jet orders in general, you can always have the Gear Gods and 4 colors. So 4 color is that like when this card is called from the hand, you get to energy charge 1, and end of the battle, if you use Energy Blast 3 at the same time for the cost of the card ability, you get to retire itself and get to draw 1. So which means that 4 color is actually good potentially if you can able to discard Tishkal, or you remove clockwise in order for you to find something out, which means that you've already kept up 4 color. And also the Gear Gold is here. The Gear Gold is that when this unit attack, if you have a Gear Dragon Vanguard, you get to Soul Blast 1 and this unit plus 5k. And at the end of the battle that this unit attack, if you have a Gear Dragon Vanguard, you Energy Blast 3, bot deck this card and you draw 1, you choose one of your opponent, you choose one of your rear guards and then you get to bot deck it, which is good. Which means that if you're able to call like triggers or like call your key pieces onto the board, he allows himself to go to the bot deck and that card to go to the bottom of the deck, and then you get to draw 1, which is nice. And then if you were to finish boosting with this one, let's say on an ideal scale, this will be a very 23k. This is a 23k column already if you use the Soul Blast 1. Other than that, if you're not using the Soul Blast, it's going to be a good 18k, which is good because which forces your opponent to probably dish out with a 5k or let's say guard with a 10k, so which is nice. And then you EV3 and then you just bot deck draw 1 and then like retire 1 and draw 1. So which means here you get to draw 2 in this particular turn. So kind of nice, I would say. Not too bad, not too shabby. And the most hilarious part, okay, this is just for hee hee ha ha purposes. Please do not follow my example, okay? If you do not have Fort and Rivaltis, Bedrock. Why? Essentially, like you're gonna have to ask me this question. Why? Because it's just the same thing. You call to rearguard circle other than the battle phase. You soul charge 1, then you counter blast 1, and you call something out from your soul. And then at the end of the turn, if you do not have a Vanguard with Blank Mire, which of course you're not playing Blank Mire, the card that you call by this effect moves back to the soul, right? So if your Vanguard is Blank Mire, then the rearguard stays, right? But if it's not, then that card that you have called, then you is essentially just move back to the soul at the end of the particular turn, right? Reason being, this almost does the same thing as what Rivaltis does. Except he doesn't get a 5k, and of course the best part about it is that you can always call out your Phylias and your GGs, and then you just proc Phylias and GGs and like Soul Blast 2 draw 1 or like move to Soul draw 1, and voila, call it a day. This is essentially just Bedrock but with like Fort and Rivaltis but with extra steps, which is a goofy strategy. It's stupid. Please don't do this even if you don't have Fort and Rivaltis, because I sincerely believe there are better cards to play other than Red Rock, and this is not your Fort and Rivaltis replacement. Unless you're so inclined to do that, by all means, go ahead, right? So that's about it for the alternatives. And yes, final comments, final remarks. Okay, I believe Chronojet is in a much more better place right now. Chronojet is actually a very good card to try to good deck to play around now. It's a very fun deck to try to push games. It can play the mid game, you can play the long game. But of course, you will have to be very careful in a lot of situations where you can deck out. Because you have Phylias, because you have GGs, you have a lot of engines that allows you to draw with like Balif. You discard one, you can draw one, and you triple drive all the time. Be careful on how you want to manage your draw engines, how you want to draw. And in Chronojet, the most important part of having playing the most optimal game is to reach magic numbers with Chronojet. 23k, 23k is a easy 15k card, so you would prefer to go for numbers that are good, like very hard to defend with, like say 28k, 48k, 43k. Those are very good magic numbers, and you have to reach them with like your Phylias, with your engine, like with your upstreams, with your Phylias, with your GGs, and whenever you check a trigger, trying to calculate the numbers where you think the magic numbers can be easily achieved, easily achievable. So let's say for example on an upstream, on a Fate Rider turn, I managed to call up, let's say, I'll give you a certain situations where you call into an upstream with Fate Rider, and then you give Fate Rider, and then you give upstream the 5k skill for Fate Rider skill, which means this is now a 15k. If the front row has front row units plus 5k, right? This is get another additional 5k. Upstream gets another 5k. So let's say if you manage to check a trigger, okay, let's put it this way, right? Let's try to put it this way. If you have, by any means at all, you have another upstream and you have an Phylia in your field as well, now you're looking at essentially 15, because when upstream attacks are plus 5k, so front row 5k, this one is 28, and assuming if your opponent has one or less triggers, then this you got 33k. 33k is still a decent magic number, and if you manage to check, let's say, one trigger, right? This upstream will be swinging for 25, which is also a 15k easy guard. So if you manage to check a trigger, you might as well just power it to the smaller one, which means you get a 35k. If you check another trigger, if you manage to check another trigger per se, you can power here to make a 43k, which is kind of nice, or you can just go for the 45k, which is also nice, because 45k is still one front trigger, it's a two-hand card, right? It's a 20k shield and a 15k shield. But if your opponent doesn't have that, another extra 5k, if they don't have the front trigger, like front effect, a 20k shield in hand, essentially they have to discard two triggers and one 5k, which is a 3-hand to discard, right? So this is like a very good 45k, yeah. So let's say 43 and a 5k card. So it's very important that you know how to plan your numbers. Going with next stage, next stage in general. If you want to power if you get a trigger and you power the back row just because you don't want to force your opponent to dish out the elementary, or say force them to go with the grade zeros, that would be awesome as well. And so this is more or less the basics of going through with Chronojet deck as such, right? So conclusion, if you want to play Chronojet, this will be it's the most idealist for me personally. It may not be for you, it may not be for anybody else, but I think like this would be a very good, a good list in my personal opinion, right? So that's about it. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comment section down below if you have like any questions or like any other like what alternatives do you feel like playing. And that's about it, right? So I will stop here in this video. I've been going on for 45 minutes. I have to rest my throat. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment down in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been Professor Inox 095 signing out. Bye bye.